The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and he missed the complete that. He's crazy.
As I said, Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through, he tags Richard.
12 weeks ago, one of the biggest stories on iRacing was the arrival of Ferrari to the service. Perhaps then it's only fitting that the season should end at the circuit named after the great Enzo Ferrari as well as his son, and we are welcoming you here tonight on the Global Sim Racing channel to our coverage of the HPP Simulation Sportscar Challenge from Imola. Hi everyone, I'm Samuel Ryman, and with me in the booth as always is Sean Ambrose, who will be covering their Daytona Prototype and GT3 classes, and next to him we have Adam Young, who will be filling in for Justin Prince tonight, covering the ever exciting GTE class. Our director Amjad Yamin will be doing all the button pushing tonight using camera sets provided, as always, by the one and only Dougie Beard. Adam, in 1994, the circuit was home to one of the darkest weekends in motor racing history, and since then many changes have been made to its layout in the name of safety. However, it still can produce some fantastic races.
Yeah, it really can. And of course, the 1994 weekend that you're referring to is when we tragically lost Roland Ratzenberger and also Ayrton Senna. That was probably one of the most tragic weekends ever in autosports history, bar none. And but as you mentioned, changed a lot after that. You know, sometimes tragedy brings about lots of improvements and safety improvements and everything else, and we're a safer sport because of what happened. Now, in the current modern layout here, we now have a 17-turn track at 3.05 miles. That's 4.909 kilometers for our international viewers here for tonight. That's a little bit of a change because, back then in 1994, well, it was a 23-turn layout at about 3.065 miles in length. So things have definitely changed around here. It's definitely going to be a tight race course for a lot of these guys, and one thing that we're noticing, of course, is that the DP speeds for the Daytona prototypes are not going to be that far off some of these GTE cars, so that'll be something interesting to watch here for tonight, and it's all related to that track configuration. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Let's go for a lap around Imola.
All right, we've got Amjad Yamin of the GSRC BMW, so let's do a lap around Imola. As we straight line the kinks along the front stretch, you're going to be sizing up your braking point into Tamburello. There's a difficult bend right where you want to slow the car up, so be careful not to clip the outside grass. Then, at the chicane, don't let the car swing too wide at the second apex. Ideally, you want control and the ability to give a little room to make that final kink flat out. From there, we approach Villeneuve, which is tempting to take faster on its more open first apex. But just like most chicanes, setting up the second half will pay off more and keep drivers from having to go at you into the next corner. It's a short stretch before we climb around Tosa. Turning in too early will hurt your exit, and you'll want all the speed you can up this huge hill. Remember, no matter how much power a car has, momentum is your friend when fighting gravity. You've got a nice blind crest just as the track bends, but it doesn't really affect the BMW. Just hold right for Piratella and try not to miss the apex like Amjad does here. It's easy in just about any car to slip wide. Now it's back downhill and into Acqua Minerale. You're going to be braking through the first corner to line up the second apex, and as you come off of it, try not to use too much of the AstroTurf on the outside. A slowdown penalty will be waiting for anyone getting greedy. Back out of the valley, get cozy up to the left alongside the trees and throw out the anchors for the Alta chicane. These curbs can easily upset the car, so try to keep the tires planted for better traction. Also, that fake grass on the right doesn't give good grip, so be wary of gassing it too eagerly. From there, the track is going to weave and drop elevation one final time. Ravazza really invites drivers to overdrive it on entry, and it's not uncommon to see them slide into the gravel on the short stretch. Obviously, the second corner is much more important here because we're dumped back onto the pit straight. Fail to get a good run and you're going to be driving defensively all the way to Tamburello. Hopefully, that won't be a problem because as we come to the line, we've finished a lap around Imola.
So many turns, not even the front straight is straight. And Sean, we mentioned this being the final round of the season, where we have 3 different classes, 3 different championships. Some are a bit closer than others. Let's take a look at those point standings.
All right, Sam, let's get that done, buddy. Well, let's look at the prototypes first. Guess what? Sam Fitzpatrick, by nature of him being the only one here in this fight tonight, will lock up this championship. It was almost certain coming in. It's definitely certain now because Evdoka is not here. Labate is not here. Luis Paulo Gallon has won the last 2 races while Clint Shane Smith continues to knock on the door for his first win of the season. But guess what? Clint didn't make it tonight here into this race, so we'll have to forget about that at this point. But yeah, the championship of the prototypes locked up for Sam Fitzpatrick. He's just looking for a good win this evening here to top it off, put a cherry on top. Let's look at the GTEs and where everybody's at there. Benjamin Perez at the top now. The championship still very close. Everybody here still use their drop weeks, so Sutton wins the championship if he beats Perez by about 7 spots or so. Likewise, we've got a good 3-way battle for third and the top 10. Let's see. So let's see. You've got Jonathan Brault, Vigo there. I believe I was scanning the field here, just trying to make sure everybody is here this evening. I think, Sam, everybody in this fight is here. I should have looked at that before. My bad. Let's go on to the GT3s, where Yavi Utreras has locked this up as he's won 3 out of the last 4 races. He's had a pretty strong season. Dexter Castro sitting there in second. Now, he's got to defend against CM Skinner, who is here this evening. And you know what? I expect this to be a pretty good battle in the GT3 field. You've got Marco Detwanic there, 4th, and Rocky Garcia down there in 5th, Sam.
Yeah, no Yavi Utreras in GT3, which would make things interesting if Dexter Castro and CM Skinner were closer to him in the points, but they're not. And you mentioned about GTE, our championship contenders. Well, our top 2 are here tonight, Benjamin Perez and Brian Sutton. And as always, we have a fairly large GTE field, so if Perez does get involved in an incident or have a really bad race, Sutton could walk away the champion. However, that 3-way battle for third in the GTE points doesn't look like any of those drivers are here. What you're seeing on your screen right now is qualifying. We've got about 2 minutes left to go. This is a top of 2 splits going on right now. As far as the HPP Simulation Sportscar Challenge is concerned, only these points in the top split will count, Adam.
Yeah, you know, and not only that, there's still 2 drop weeks that were factored into all these, and I do believe that most of our championship battles here for tonight, most of those drop weeks have already been counted. I do want to point out, though, that we brought up the GTE points a few minutes ago. You saw Elliott Biddle in 3rd position, and you're going to see his name on the broadcast tonight, but he's racing in the GT3 class out there as well. In fact, he's actually on the pole right now in that GT3 class. But his points obviously won't count toward the GTE standings here tonight.
Yeah, so that championship out of his grasp, he figured might as well give something else a try. And why not here? So last round of the season, see how much experience you can get in before they throw some new machines and tracks. I believe Snetterden is a new track coming to the next iRacing season. Snetterden was actually my local track in England. I have a few memories going there with my papa when I was very young. 1 minute left of qualifying. Now, you see a very, very small leaderboard there on the left-hand side of the screen, Sean. That's not because only 3 prototypes have turned a lap. It's because we only have 3 DPs here tonight.
Yeah, and I definitely want to pick your brain about Snetterton because I've got that coming up in a series next season. But I also want to know if you prefer the 200 or the 300 configuration there. But yeah, only 3 DPs here tonight, and the one that matters, Sam Fitzpatrick. Well, hey, let's be fair, everybody matters, but Sam Fitzpatrick looking to, like I said, put a cherry on top of this ice cream sundae for the season and come home in classic fashion. You've got Jefferson Padovani, the Brazilian, in the field tonight. We got a nice little mix. Brazil, Canada, UK, and I here representing the DP class.
And guys, there's a pretty big story on track right now. Benjamin Perez, our championship lead in GTE, but let's not forget, not by much. It has only qualified 11th, and he's not going to make it around to the line, I don't think, by the expiration. So Benjamin Perez will be starting 11th. Now, his saving grace is that Brian Sutton, the driver who will have to beat him by about 6 or 7 positions to take the championship, he's only going to be starting about 5 positions ahead. Let's give you a full rundown of the grid. I've got the DPs. Sam Fitzpatrick, Jefferson Padovani, Matthew Mulder. I'm out of breath. All right, over to you, Adam.
Starting on pole for the GTEs, Matty Katasoya. Wow, you know what? We went over this a few minutes ago. And then Ronaldo Yerna, Julian Offray, Lewis Goodway, and Robin Esterson make up row 4. Gianni Duccio starting in row 5. Brian Sutton also alongside him. Then back there, Brian Sutton, of course, second in the points. Really all Benjamin Perez has to do is keep him in sight. Miguel Vigo, Claudio Klima, and Mike Burdett, Benjamin Perez, and rounding out the GTEs, Kurt Kroom.
All right, let's go on to the GT3 class. Elliot Biddle, your pole sitter there. Patrick Bodden, going to start 17th or second in class. Georgi Zajan back with us again this week. He's starting 3rd. Julien Rioux, the Canadian, will start 4th. CM Skinner, the New Yorker, starting 5th. Dexter Castro will start 6th. In 7th, Leonidas Kuzuviak from Brazil. In 7th, Arturs Cronenbergs will start 8th. Bimar Ludovic will start 9th. And Christopher Exner will start 10th in the GT3 class.
Drivers haven't even rolled off for, I'd say pace lap, but it's really only a couple turns here. And already some drivers not very happy. Dexter Castro kicking himself after making a couple of mistakes in qualifying. Saw his name, despite being second in the points, he's going to be starting really in the tail end of the GT3 field. And Vecchio saying he doesn't like the afternoon conditions. The track temperatures are really quite hot out here. It's over 100 degrees track temperature, which could make the track very slick indeed. So the leaders and DP are actually rolling their way to the bottom of a hill right now and about to come through the final turn. The pace car will peel off. This is a 45-minute race. So these guys are going to be doing about 30 laps. And for those about to race, we salute you. Here we go. Green flag for the final round of the season. And Sam Fitzpatrick about to lead this field of 3 DPs away. Jefferson and Matt are going to have to find a way by him soon if they don't want him to run away. Green flag is out. Fitzpatrick gets a nice jump on them, and Jefferson, Padovani, and Matthew Molnar are going to be left to fight it out for second. Back to you in GT, Adam.
Yeah, Matty got off to a great start and great jump right now over Ronaldo. Behind Ronaldo, Julian Offray, and then behind him right now, Lewis Goodway. They're all going to get through that first 2, 3, 4 complex. Everybody's through clean.
All right, GT3 class underway. It's going to be Elliot Biddle that gets to Variante Tamburello first. Georgi Zajan moves up to second as they head down here.
There was a very slow Ferrari on course. I believe it was Julian Offray.
Julian Offray, and I don't know. I think what it was, he just didn't feel comfortable in the spot he was in. Just let off the gas, let everybody by. At least that's what it looked like to me. But he's under power right now.
Oh, Sam Fitzpatrick loses it. He holds on to it, but it costs him the lead. It costs him the overall lead of the race. May even cost him second place as well in one of the trickiest portions of the circuit, going downhill into a heartbreaking area. It just snaps loose on him. There's a new lead, and it's Matthew Molnar. Here's a replay. So, only 3 cars in DP, and they've already inverted their order in the opening lap. Nothing like that happening in GTE, though, Adam. It's Matti Katasoya still leading the way.
Yeah, and behind him, Ronaldo and then Lewis, all running 1, 2, 3 right now in that GTE class, and they are starting to get a little bit of a gap, going back to 4th position in class, and that right now is Robin Esterson. Our closest battle right now is between Brian Sutton, trying to get every single point he can. Right now, taking a look underneath Gianni as they start heading into turn 2.
Okay, the GT3's making it back around here. Dexter Castro, I think he got a slowdown penalty coming out of Ravazza as he had to let 3 cars by. Dexter drop it all the way back to 9th in class. That's going to hurt. Good battle, though, up in front of him as Leonidas Guziviak leads Arturs Cronenbergs and Bimar Ludovic. You guys thought you got all the hard names up there.
Yeah, see some drivers kicking up dirt quite early on around this circuit. Remember, this is an official iRacing Series race, so you do have that 17 incident point limit. And a problem here for Skinner.
So speaking of dirt, he decided he was going to go ahead and try to dirt track that thing.
Yeah, swatting flies up there in that Merc.
Need to get the numbers back in front of me. I can't recall if Skinner has been able to get on the podium at the end of the day. I know he's had a ton of 4th place finishes this season. Meanwhile, there's only 3 cars in DP, but they're all nose to tail. I wonder if Matt Molnar will still be leading as they come through turn 1 here, because Padovani has a slipstream. Will he look down the inside? Molnar holds onto it for now. Fitzpatrick there in the popcorn position. And they all get through all right.
You know, if we get a chance to talk to Julian Alfre after this race, we're going to have to ask him what exactly is going on, because Elliott Biddle in that Mercedes, your GT3 leader, just went around him like he was standing still at this point.
Yeah, something must be off with Alfre. Biddle had actually, after keeping up with him, had started to slip back just a bit, so something went wrong there for Alfre. Maybe he got a slowdown penalty that we just didn't pick up. But Biddle now having to watch his mirror as Alfre starts to kind of catch him here just a bit. They head up the hill for this left-hander. 3rd gear tucked down to the inside here.
In 1982, Didier Pironi and Gilles Villeneuve proved around here that you only need 2 cars to pull on a great race. I'll tell you what, I can't take my eyes off our DP leaders. They're still nose to tail. They've been like this whole lap around, and they're proving that you can only have 3 cars here in DP to have a great race, at least in the early stages. Sam Fitzpatrick being patient for now, but he doesn't have to be patient. He's already won this championship. There's no one here to challenge him. He's got plenty of wins this season. Let's go and get another one. And if you risk it all and come up short, the West are going to finish with 3rd. He's looking for 2nd now.
And Fitzy out there having some fun there. Sam doesn't quite pull it off. Doesn't need to yet. Still plenty of time here. A pit stop, obviously. We hadn't talked about those and how important they'll be.
Pretty good battle for 4th shaping up in GTE there, Adam.
Yeah, they're fighting at tooth and nail right now. They're between Robin Esterson and Gianni Vecchio. But for the most part, other than that, everybody's been running nose to tail for the most part. Seems like passing is going to be at a premium here, which is going to make those pit stops you're bringing up just a minute ago even more important. Now, we were talking in the pre-race, Sam, that you had a chance to actually run one of these races earlier on tonight. My question for you is how's pit entry and pit exit going to be here tonight for these guys?
For the drivers doing the pitting, it's not going to be that difficult. It's very easy pits to get in and very easy pits to get out of. The problem, as I'm watching Sam Fitzpatrick maybe thinking about a move for 2nd and DP again, and it looks like he'll get it actually. There we go, Fitzpatrick back up into 2nd position. Now can he get the lead on the front straight? But the problem with the pitters, and we'll see it now as the leaders go by, there's pit entry on the right. No problem. The drivers pull off, just go over there. The problem is, here's pit exit. It's right around this left-hander kink as they come down to turn 1, and you're going to have cars coming out there at about 40 miles an hour, while other cars are blasting by at over 100, fighting into the first corner. That could get ugly.
Sam, guy in the GT3 class, Dexter Castro on the move. Just got by Arturs Cronenbergs, and now he's setting up Leonidas Guziviak as they head down into Ravazza. Castro here tried to pull it off back there, and Alta couldn't get it done. Looking for a chance here in Ravazza. Out of Ravazza, he gets a nice run. Probably going to be able to get him here in the toe. Interesting note. I'm sorry, Adam. Interesting note about Cronenberg. Cronenberg's is the only one here with an Audi, and Dexter passed him up pretty good there in his Mercedes.
Meanwhile,
I was getting ready to say, for a guy that's watched Dexter Castro the last couple of years, it is still very odd for me to see him in a Mercedes.
Fitzpatrick has retaken the overall lead. He's got by Matt Molnar. Now let's see if he can pull away. Let's recall the only reason he lost it in the first place was because the car snapped loose on him on cold tyres on the opening lap. Here we'll get a replay of that pass that has gave Fitzy back the top position. But let's go back to talking about Dexter Castro here. At first I was surprised he was towards the back of the field, but I'll tell you what, Sean, the GT3 field is very tough tonight. Got a strong SOF, I've got to imagine, because even Dexter, we know he's fast, but he's got the number 19 on his car. Yeah,
and the GT3 class we found most of the season, it's generally been a pretty competitive bunch. Elliott Biddle looks to be the class of the field based on iRating. And based on his position right now, looks like he's going to be the one that's definitely hard to beat. Georgi Zajan, who's been with us for, I don't know, probably about 4 or 5 rounds now, he has shown to be a very, very fast driver and really just had some bad luck. So, yeah, some quality through the field. Like Castro chasing Skinner now, and he's 7.5 seconds back. He's got a long way to go to catch CM Skinner.
Oh, your leader, Matty Casoa, is off. Just had a little bit of a venture off track there. Your leader in the GTE class, and that Ferrari decided he was going to go and kick up some gravel, and that closed the gap pretty significantly, going back to Ronaldo Yerna and then also Lewis Goodway up there. They're not right underneath his rear wing yet, but he definitely lost a little bit of time. Go ahead and trying to do a little bit of landscaping.
Oh, I think we've had it coming together for second in DP. Matt Molnar and Jefferson Padovani were both off course there, and Padovani's got a pretty good punch in the nose of it. We'll see what happened here up at the chicane. Riding on board Padovani, does he just get way late on the brakes? Fortunately, both escape injury and retain their positions.
Yeah, Padovani's got pretty significant front end damage. Yeah. In fact, that he's coming in.
Yeah, that's a center punch right there, and Padovani definitely going to need to repair that. He'll be able to get the nose, I think, on that replaced, but he may continue to carry some of that damage if he comes out.
I think this is a little bit too early to make it all the way to the end on this stop.
It's going to be very close, Sam. We've been out, just over 10 minutes, so it'll be really, really close. He'll be pushing it right to the end.
Meanwhile, I know a while ago, Sean, you mentioned there was only one Audi in GT3. I flicked through our GTE field to see if we had any drivers who have had beer cans thrown at them by the Tifosi today. And sure enough, there is one Ford GT in the field, and that is Kurt Crum in the number 12.
Poor guy.
Well, and it gets worse for Crum because he actually just dropped to last in class. Julian Offray has gotten back on pace and got around him.
Okay, well, that day got just even worse, so that's a tough one. Castro having just a bit of a moment there out of Villeneuve.
And a great battle going on right behind him. A three-way fight being led by... being led by Artis now. There he is, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what was funny was he had just gotten passed by Ludovic and Guzuviak, and now he's back on point. I'm wondering if maybe they got together.
Oh, Castro's in trouble.
Oh, no. Castro makes a big, big mistake. Oh, boy. He's not going to like himself after that one.
And CM Skinner will pick up second in the points because Castro is out of a race after this.
Yeah, Tosa gets him. He gets a little bit too far off of that turf, and it sends the car around into the tire barrier, and he just gets out of it.
And that will be the first official retirement from the race. Padovani still in the pits, mind you.
Yeah, looking at P4 here in GTE, that battle still continues. Actually, Robin Esterson finally able to get around Vecchio, but Vecchio trying to come back, squeezes Robin just a little bit there on the exit of the corner. Now we're going to go side by side down the backstretch here as they're flying off down into, I believe that's turn 13 and turn 14 here, that complex. And Robin Esterson right underneath now the rear wing of Gianni, both of them driving Ferraris here for today. These guys have been pretty much nose to tail here the entire race. Finally see a little bit of a gap. Go just behind them though. Now Miguel Vigo, Claudio Klima, and then Brian Sutton are back there fighting as well. Don't forget that Brian Sutton right now, second in points in the GTE class. He needs a little bit of help though in order to try to take advantage of Benjamin Perez starting far back in the field, but right now he's not having much luck because the car right behind him is Benjamin Perez. And so Benjamin Perez doing what he needs to do to win this championship by keeping Brian Sutton in sight.
Yeah, Sutton lost a couple of places that lap. Meanwhile, much like a coral snake, red on yellow is not a fellow right now. This battle for fourth continuing between Vecchio and Esterson. However, Esterson didn't make a move into turn one, but I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on these. And you see that since we're on the snake puns, a snake of cars, a snake of Ferraris coming around from fifth on back behind them.
Sam, I had a Burmese python once.
I have a corn snake.
Oh, cool. Sam,
I think we go off the topic. Yeah, what's going on back there, Sean?
I was going to say, in the GT3 class, good battle here for second. Nothing has been decided as Patrick Bodden is chasing Gary Zajan. He's been doing it for, I'm going to be honest, for most of this race right now. These two have continued to battle nose to tail. Gary right now has a little bit of an advantage, just a little bit better line around here. But I'll tell you what, these two fighting hard. Unfortunately for them, the fight has come at a sacrifice as Elliot Biddle continues to open it up a little bit more every lap, currently 8.5 seconds ahead of these two fighting for this second and third spot. Now Julian Rioux is the closest to a fight here for the podium. He finds himself though 6.5 seconds behind Patrick Bodden.
The clock in your top left corner of your screen kicks down to less than 30 minutes to go. Already a third of the way through this race and just one pit stop. There's not a lot of strategy these guys are going to be able to play. So if they do want to make their way up to the front of the field, they've got to think about making moves all race long.
And I was just watching Jefferson Padovani fans. He has returned to the racetrack, but his first lap back out already found himself in one of those sausage curbs and crinkled up the front end again here in just a little bit. They recently repaired a front clip on that car. It looks a little beat up again.
Man, that's he just can't catch a break this evening.
Now, those sausage curbs they have here, they're no joke either.
Dude.
They'll reach up and get you if you're not careful with them.
Man, they will mess you up. Period. And that Chevrolet C7DP is pretty fickle when it comes to damage, especially up around the nose of that. If you do not want to lose top speed on this track, especially when we talked about the speeds being so marginal to begin with, the difference in them being so marginal, a straight DP is a happy and fast DP.
Tell you what, Matty may have been leading this GTE race since drop of a green flag, but Ronaldo is not letting him get away, Adam.
No, he's really not. He's been able to hang with them for the most part, although the gap is increasing between the two, but it's very small every lap. It's going after those little breadcrumbs every lap, just trying to get that much further ahead. And it's really the same way, even going back to third, although we're finally starting to see the gap between Lewis Goodway and Irna start to separate even a little bit more. But really, that top three had been close. But here in the last couple of laps, Goodway starting to fall back just a little bit. We're starting to see that combo there with Vecchio and then Esterson start to get a little bit bigger in his own rear view mirror. So he's got to be a little bit careful there, as well as we very well could have a battle for third place in GTE shaping up here in the next couple laps.
Something else happening in GTE right now is our first scheduled pit stop of a race, and that is Julian Offray. He hadn't had a great race going, but two things of note here. One is that he was only stationary for 10 seconds. That's all you need to be stationary for, because it's not a very high-speed track. You don't burn up a lot of fuel, so you don't need to take a lot of fuel in the pits. The other is, look at the pit exit. It drops him right out on the racetrack, not too long. Not too much afterwards, they're right in the braking zone for turn 1, and that could create some chaos later on.
Especially when we start seeing what's more likely to be the other side of the pit strategy, when we start seeing everybody else start to come in for their splash and goes a little bit closer to the end of the race as opposed to the beginning. Julian Offray maybe seeing the writing on the wall there and trying to take advantage of maybe some of those late race troubles, getting his pit stop out of the way now.
Lap traffic also starting to play a little bit of a factor. A couple of close calls between GTs and GT3 cars as they navigate their way around. Won't see a whole lot of lap traffic today due to the twisty nature of the circuit. The GT cars will only go down a lap or two, but still we're gonna keep our eye on stuff like Christopher Exner in his Mercedes going through the gravel right now. I guess he saw the GTE track. Oh, and he gets rear-ended by Mike Burnett. He was trying to get out of the way. There was just one more car.
Oh boy. Yeah, that just didn't end up really good there, did it? He was slow off pace there and just really nowhere for Burdett to go. And Burdett's coming through there at a pretty good rate of speed, obviously. And Burdett picks up, looks to be a little bit of damage. Maybe not much there, Sam. Might be okay. That Ferrari, a pretty durable machine.
Well, the good news for him is that we've already seen that pit window, we believe, is open. So maybe if that car is damaged, he'll be able to come in at the end of this lap and get it repaired a little bit. Although the crew won't be able to do much if he only wants to have a scheduled 10-second stop.
This battle for fourth place right now in GTE, just as I say it, Robin Esterson kind of gets a bad run here going on to the front straightaway, but Robin has just been right underneath Gianni here almost the last lap and a half. Just looking for a place to make a move. This is going to be a battle that's going to heat back up here any second. Now, in fact, Robin really gets a good dive there going into turns 2 and 3, but the better exit goes to Vecchio here at this point.
Battle for second, getting a little bit tight here, Sean, in GT3, with Sargent right ahead of Baden.
Yeah, Baden's still tracking him pretty good here, but I think it's a drill to the pit stop, to be honest with you, Sam. I think right now Baden just taking it easy, just kind of biding his time. Doesn't want to get too aggressive and destroy the car here. Now just less than 25 minutes to go. The end game is so important here in the IMSA series, and I think Baden's got a pretty smart race going right now, to be honest with you. I like what he's doing. Here comes Padovani coming by, getting through here. You'll see him come by on the left.
Ooh, Robin Esterson here, big run here for fourth in GTE, and they finally going to be able to get around Gianni Vecchio. Gianni just had a bad entrance into the corner, and then Robin just was able to take advantage of it. You're going to see it here on the GSRC replay. hit that curb, it looks like, a little bit too hard. That shot Gianni out, and now he's going to lose fourth place there to Robin Esterson. That might actually work out there, Sean and Sam, because started looking at the lap times of the cars behind them, the Miguel Vigo, Claudia Klima, and Brian Sutton group. They've actually been faster than that Gianni Vecchio and Robin Esterson combination there. The last couple of laps have been slowly gaining on them. You can see there right on the edge of your screen. You'll catch that group right behind him there, that Miguel Vego riding in that white Ferrari, white and blue Ferrari there in the background. So these guys are very slowly gaining here at this point.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Vecchio pits soon. I mean, if he feels like he's being held up by Esterson and these guys behind him are catching, why not make your pit stop, try and use the undercut, see if you can leapfrog Esterson through the round of stops, and you won't have to worry about the big pack closing in on you from behind either.
Would be a strategy. Pass him on pit road. At least that's how I like to call it when I do that.
Hey, man, share that wisdom. Share it. All right.
I can only share so much wisdom. That's why I was quiet. I can't let all my secrets out.
Bit of a problem for Bima Ludovic. Oh no, he was losing a lot of positions on track. I think he was just letting leaders by. Because he's still in 7th in class.
Yeah, he was just letting, actually, Sammy did let some leaders by there. Now, Leonidas Guziviak has taken his pit stop. He's back on track now, getting in that outlap. Okay, now he is 9th in the GT3 class, but the first one to get that stop in. I would say now at this point for the GT3s, the window is open. Come on in, get the fuel you need to finish, and get on back out. Of course, Zajan, the best he can hope for is some sort of penalty or mistake by Elliot Biddle, who is now a full 15 seconds ahead.
The battle is on for 4th in GTE again. Vecchio just took it in the hairpin from Esterson. Esterson did not get a good run out of the chicane, and Vecchio was there to capitalise. Meanwhile, back on pit road, Zajan into the pit. And Team Red, well, Team Yellow really just made a good move right there.
Really did, and you know that probably not going to be the last time we see these two swap positions here over the course of this race. They cannot get away from each other at this point. Now they're going to have lap traffic in the mix here with Biomara Ludovic.
Okay, Georgi Zajan is in and right back out. A nice quick stop, 14.8 seconds in the box. You see him coming down the pit lane here, getting that Mercedes to the green cones, living her off, and on the loud pedal. There he goes. Off to Variante Alta.
And he comes out, Sean, right ahead of that battle we've been keeping an eye on in GTE.
Got my chicanes wrong. Tamburello. Hello. All right. Well, we'll keep it.
Yeah, looking at the GTE lead, Matica Soa has lost finally a little bit of ground thanks to a combination between Yerna just wanting the lead at this point, and also a little bit of lap traffic has finally allowed Yerna to get underneath the rear wing of Matica Soa's Ferrari, and they're gunning for it right now.
Yeah, we'll keep our eye on this. I can tell you the GT3 leader, Elliot Biddle, is coming to the pits. We'll catch back up with him later. Right now, this battle for the lead is heating up. Now, does Lorena want to try and do this on track, or does he want to try and do the undercut? Now that pit road is getting busy and we've gone midway through this race, is he thinking about the strategy call?
Sam, a lot of GT3s opted to go into the pits. Biddle, followed by Julia Ryu, CM Skinner, Artist, Cronenberg just came in.
GTE leaders stay out, and as the GT3 cars rejoin the track, let's see if any of them get mixed up in this. No, the two GTE leaders still have a clean track for now.
Well, right there, you can see that run that Ronaldo gets on Matty. It's just Matty right now just having the better exit on these, especially these slow corners. That's really what's keeping him in the lead right now.
Tail end of the GT field coming in this time by. We have Ludovic coming in it from GT3, also Crum, the Ford GT is down pit road. As we continue the watch out of well, we were watching out the rear wind of a leader right there at Ronaldo, who remains in second place. He's got 17 minutes to try and train trap. Our overall leader, Sam Fitzpatrick, into the pits. He has 15 seconds over Molnar.
It's amazing just how fast this race is clicking off now, and of course you get a little bit past halfway, we're starting to see some of these battles shaping up too. And of course, you know, we'll stay here on the lead, but the other battle that we've been watching in GTE between fourth place Gianni Vecchio and Robin Esterson continues to stay the same way as it is, but they're still pretty close themselves.
Okay, the GT3 leader is in. Patrick Bodden is in. Elliot Biddle making his way around. Just got out of Ravata. He is on his way across the start-finish line. Bodden, down off the jack, is away. Going to get passed by Elliot Biddle. He goes back to the lead of this race. Everyone in the GT3 class has taken their pit stop, boys.
Yeah, the GTE battle for the lead breaks up temporarily. And there you see why. Lots of cars coming into the pits, including Benjamin Perez, who right now is looking good for a championship victory at the end of the day.
This is a good chance for the likes of Gianni Vecchio and also your leader, Matty Keasoa, to try to have some good laps here before they come in without any pressure from the cars behind them. Click off a little bit of lap, get yourself a little bit of separation before you come down pit road.
I have a feeling we'll see the rest of the GTEs in very soon. I don't think they can go too much further on fuel, so things will start getting exciting. If any of these virtual fans have a radio, I'd be running down the turn 1 to see what happens on pit exit.
Sam Fitzpatrick coming around our leader, Elliot Biddle, here in the GT3 class. So you've got the DP leader, the GT3 leader, and the GTE. All right there, Sam.
Yeah, but the GTE had yet to pit, but quite...
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, quite significant there, really, that the DP leader only just put the GT3 leader a lap down after half an hour of racing.
Well, you were thinking that we'd only see these guys lap once, maybe twice, so right on track for that here at this point as we're starting to see the rest of the GTE field for the most part coming down. Matty Keasoa, watching to see when he pulls off. We're also keeping a track of where Ronaldo is here on track and see if he's able to get any kind of ground coming off.
Yeah, Sam, and back to your point, I really just think it's this track being as technical as it is. I mean, I know several drivers that feel this is their least favorite course. It's a tough one, man. Not surprised that they're not lapping the field so quickly.
And here comes Matty Keasoa. He's back on track. Ronaldo has a head full of steam. Is he going to get him going in here into 2? No, it stays 1, 2, and they are right back where they were before the pit stops.
And not as much drama for 4th, where Vecchio gets out with quite a bit of room ahead of Esterson. Yeah, you were talking about it being tough and tight there, Sean. Well, it certainly was tight going into turn 1 for the GTE lead, but now Ronaldo is going to have to do it the hard way.
And don't forget that these guys have a DP right behind him. That's the DP of Jefferson Padovani, who's had some issues here for today. You know, he could very well get involved in this this leader mix here for GTE.
So every car on track has now pit. We're going to let the scoring cycle through, and then in a couple moments here we'll give you a rundown of the top 5 in each class, or the top 3 for the DPs at least.
You know, and Sam, something we kind of overlooked after that cycle of pit stops in the GT3s is, you know, Patrick Bodden, now he stayed out longer than everybody, had a couple laps longer than everybody else. He was behind Zajan before that pit stop and now finds himself ahead by over 2 seconds. Bodden obviously picking up a little bit of time by staying out there and not fighting with anybody. Zajan, the big loser, though, after that pit stop, he finds himself now in third, and Bodden comfortably up here in second. The track pretty much free of any obstruction from him right now, so he's just got to dig here over these last 12 and a half minutes.
Back up in GTE lead here, Jefferson Padovani has now split the leaders. In fact, he really slows up Ronaldo there going through that turn 2-3 complex, and that gap now really widened up with that DP involved in the mix.
Yeah, there was a bit of a 3 wide going on down the front straight just a moment ago around these guys, which was a little bit hairy. But as Padovani comes up, well, it's not going to be easy for him to get by Matty, remember? And that's bad news for Matty. He'll probably do it here, because when Matty backs off for this left-hander, that's going to allow Ronaldo to close back in. However, I think overall, that number 1 car has been able to extend his lead a little bit, but Ronaldo definitely still within striking range.
Yeah, in fact, Ronaldo was able to catch back up there just a little bit. Remember, those DPs, they're a little bit slower in the mid part of the, from the entrance to mid part of the corner than what the GTEs are. So that's why Ronaldo got slowed up there just a minute ago. They just have a better launch off with a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more aerodynamics, that sort of thing. But Matty Casoa in that gap between him and Ronaldo now up to about 0.65 seconds, so a little bit over half a second now between the two. We'll have to see if it closes back up. I tell you what, though, the big winner in those pit stops had to have been Gianni Vecchio, going back to 4th in class. He was right underneath the rear wing of Lewis Goodway there for a little bit, but now Robin Esterson's kind of gotten back in his clutch. In fact, something had to have happened here just a moment ago to Gianni. His lap time. Okay, excuse me, that's me reading something wrong there, so never mind that, but Robin Esterson really underneath his rear wing right now.
Yeah, these two are going to be having nightmares about each other tonight, the amount of time they spent out here on track battling each other, though mind you, that's only been about 35 minutes, a 45-minute race in the Simsa series, kind of considered a bit of a sprint race. Let's go ahead and give a rundown of all 3 classes for you, the top 5 of each class with 10 minutes left to go. In DP, it's Sam Fitzpatrick. The top half of a DP field is covered by 15 seconds. Problem is, it's only 2 cars, 15 seconds from Fitzpatrick back to Molnar in 2nd place. If something did happen to Fitzpatrick, Molnar would be there to capitalise. Not so sure you can say the same about Padovani, who's
Giovanni is around. He half spun it. Robin Esterson has the position. He is away for the races. See him just get a little hot here going into the corner. This next right-hander right here, and the rear end just gets away from him and puts it off into the runoff, and away Robin goes. He's gonna have to fight real hard in order to get back up to his rear wing here by the end of this race. He might run out of time now with only really a couple minutes in the grand scheme of things left in this thing.
We'll catch one more replay of it there, Adam, but what is the top 5 looking like in GT right now?
Well, after that little bit of a shake-up, Matty Casoa right now leading it as he has from the start of this race, but that entire run, he's been under at least some sort of pressure from 2nd place Ronaldo Liera. Ronaldo right where he started as well. 3rd place has fallen off just a little bit here in the last couple minutes. Lewis Goodway has been holding on to 3rd. He started at 4th, but has been running in 3rd pretty much since lap 1. 1. Robin Esterson now behind him. Robin has been one of the faster cars as far as that group right there, and that very well could be another battle that we see here before the end of the race there between 3rd and 4th position. Going back to 5th, you just saw him have trouble a minute ago. Gianni Vecchio now holding down 5th position in the GTE class here for the race this evening.
All right, let's go for the GT3s, and currently Elliott Biddle is your leader. He's been your leader since this race got started, guys. Elliott having a strong run here today. Now Patrick Bodden manages to advance up to 2nd, get in front of Georgi Zaijan, who is now in 3rd. Bodden took that position away after the pit cycle there. And Georgi Zaijan now sits in 3rd, followed by CM Skinner, who finds himself now in 4th. Skinner in control of that position, being chased by Julian Ryu, but Ryu, after his last lap, was about 2 seconds off pace from Skinner. They're going to be awful.
I'm sorry for the battle for the GT lead. Doesn't happen yet.
Oh, that was definitely Ronaldo's best chance so far here, right there, to take that thing back. I guess we can let Sean continue now.
Oh, that's cool. No, we're good, man. Julian Ryu currently sits in 5th, and well, the rest of the field are going to be Artis Cronenberg is in 6th, and Leonidas Guziviak in 7th, Bimar Ludovic in 8th, and Christopher Exner is still on track. He is in 9th.
Tell you, another little good battle going on in the closing stages here. It was a 3-way battle a moment ago. Was between Benjamin Perez, Julian Offray, and Mike Burdett. However, Offray and Burdett got side by side as Julian actually moved up another position after his poor start to the race, and that held them both up and dropped back a bit of Perez. Now, even if Perez did lose positions, even if Perez crashed right now and dropped to the back of the pack, because Brian Sutton is only in 7th, I don't think he would get enough points with Perez finishing last of the cars that are here today for Sutton to win the championship. So things looking real good for Perez right now, unless the top half of the GTE field wipe out. And let's go back up to that battle for the lead, although it's spread out a little bit here, Adam.
Yeah, just a little bit, though. Right back to where it was just about 2 or 3 laps ago, with that about 0.6 of a second gap between Matty Casasoa and Ronaldo Yerna. And then we'll have to see how well it closes up. But there you go. You see Ronaldo just have that really good run into the tighter corners. But Matty Casasoa right now has the advantage coming off the corners. And that right now, as I said, about 10 minutes or so ago, that's what's keeping him in the lead at this point.
Look how little time there is left of this race. Just a little over 5 minutes left now.
You got to start thinking about the end game here, and if you got moves to make, start making them. Take a look, going back, and also 3rd, Lewis Goodway now is really going to have to start worrying about Robin Esterson. We called it that might be like that here a few minutes ago, and indeed that gap now just a little bit over 1.5 seconds between those two. Robin Esterson's coming for 3rd, guys.
Esterson seems to be really hooked up, man. That Ferrari is on the march. The podium spot is right there for him to take.
And just so much faster here the last couple laps as well than really, see, even your leaders right now. Matty Casasoa last lap was a 39.8. Ronaldo is a 40.284. Lewis a 44.9. Robin Esterson was fastest out of all of them at 39.8. So Robin right now has the fastest GTE car on track, I believe.
It's hard to say he's been conserving his tyres after how much he's been battling for 4th place all race long. Wonder if he's just enjoying finally having clean air out there so he can show what he can do.
Now, that very well could be the case. I mean, you know, the dirty air does affect these cars just a little bit, at least in my what I've been able to experience here so far driving them. Now your leaders are going to be coming up here on some lap traffic in just a moment with the Mercedes and GT3. In effect, Matty Caso has already flashing the headlights at him, letting him know he's there. So we'll see if what happens last time they caught lap traffic in these conditions, if that happens again. And just ahead of even Sajan up there, you got Patrick Bodden. That's going to be the next car these guys catch not long after they get around Sajan.
Yeah, and not getting caught in a great spot here either. Coming into Alta, this is not where you want to have to deal with this traffic coming through. And Sajan got to be very, very careful here. Very careful here. He does a good job. Canasoya does a good job of getting around him, and now Ronaldo Lerna is going to go ahead and clear Sajan. And Sajan is still battling to try and get that spot from Patrick Bodden. Well, yeah, you got to realize that he's in a fight too. I mean, he's hoping to do what he can do to try to get up there to Patrick Bodden, while at the same time not losing any ground to to anybody else in that field. So, but those leaders right now, Matty Casoa and Ronaldo Lerna, they're going at it, and might not want to be in the way if things start happening.
Yeah, still nose to tail with just 2.5 minutes left on the clock. This thing is going to go down to the wire. Meanwhile, an update towards the tail end of the GTE field. Benjamin Perez actually had an off about a lap ago that cost him 2 positions. I think he should still be safely able to take home the championship with that, though. Keeping an eye on this. Let's go back and keep an eye on this GTE battle for the lead, though, because I don't think we've seen the last of these two.
Yeah, it is the battle on the racetrack here at the moment, for a class win nonetheless. Here they come now on that red Mercedes of Patrick Bodden, also not catching him at the most opportune place either.
Okay, Sam Fitzpatrick just went over the start-finish line with about 1 minute 45 seconds left on the clock. That is bad news for anyone who tried to play it liberally on fuel, because Fitzpatrick is going to take the white flag with only 10 laps left on the clock. Now, granted, it'll be... 10 seconds left on the clock. Now, granted, that means it'll be a 28-lap race, which is what a lot of these races this week have been going to. So hopefully all the drivers have planned for that. But still, it will be interesting to see if we do have any drivers struggling for fuel on the final lap.
Yeah, and it does look like now that this is going to go a little bit extra time than what it could have been if he'd just been 10 seconds slower, because you now have a battle going on for P1 and P2 in your GTE, and Robin Esterson is right there for P3 and P4 between him and Lewis Goodway. So 2 battles going on right now, 2 pairs at the top of the GTE class.
Now Fitzpatrick, if he really wanted to, if he was low on fuel, could slow down 10 seconds and take a white flag.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but Fitzpatrick is crossing the line right now and the white flag is in the air. So, let's keep an eye on this battle for the GTE lead, because they have just 1.5 laps left to go.
Yeah, I'm watching right now... Ronaldo just trying to find a way around Matty Casoa. Just cannot find it just yet.
Elliot Biddle, the GT3 leader, just got into the lapped car of...
Oh boy, yep.
Yeah,
that was, he got into Leonidas Guziviak.
He got away with it,
Ravazza.
Yep, as soon as we come back from this replay, as soon as we come back from this replay, let's go back to the GTE battle for the lead, because this is Ronaldo's opportunity down the front straight. Can he get around on Matty and try and make it stick into turn 1? He's got to try.
He's definitely looking defensive here at this point. While Ronaldo's just doing his best to stay in the draft, he's going to make him take a look on the left side. Oh, doesn't get much closer than that here in these type of cars. Right now, right underneath his rear wing, the exit was not a problem this time for Ronaldo.
Vigo did not have enough fuel. He comes into the pits. Esterson in
Ronaldo
trouble.
is off. Oh, Ronaldo is off. 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 and he's going to have a big slowdown penalty there. That's going to settle your battle for the race lead, most likely.
All right. And here, but for the overall lead, it's no contest. Sam Fitzpatrick comes out of a final turn, and he will win here at Imola. Back to this GTE battle.
And that GTE battle is settled, and I believe Ronaldo said something coming over the radio that his wheel had failed. So I think right now he's just trying to bring this car home. That's going to hand this race win most likely to Matty Keosoa. You can see Ronaldo running back off the track there in the background. So that battle is done out there for GTE. Is Matty Keosoa's race.
Okay,
and back to you, Sean.
Biddle coming out of Ravazza too. Setting up for the win here. It's going to be Elliott Biddle with pretty much a green to checker finish. Biddle going to win the final round here this week at Imola. Great race for him. Patrick Bodden secure with second place, but still quite a ways back to complete this race.
It's Matty, Adam.
Matty Keosoa coming across the line. He's going to get P1 in your GTE class here for today. I think Ronaldo is done. That's going to hand second place to Robin Esterson, and Lewis Goodway is going to come home on the podium.
And look at how Ronaldo's dropped off with Vecchio right behind him, and then Brian Sutton. Boy, what Sutton would have done for one more lap. I think if he could have gotten by those two cars, he may have had a mathematical shot at this championship, but that's not the case, and not too far behind him, Benjamin Perez crosses the line, and he will be the GTE champion.
Gotta hand it for Ronaldo Yerna, though, to be able to do his best to try to hang on with that broken wheel and still bring the thing home in 3. And we're talking about actual hardware failure, the wheel at his computer. It sounds like that's what broke for him. But he was able to recover and at least come home with a finished car. And granted, it didn't last much longer than that.
Well, so Sam Fitzpatrick drops to last in DP on the opening lap, comes back to win the race and the championship. Matty holds off Ronaldo all race long to take the win in GTE, while Benjamin Perez takes the championship, finishing 2 positions behind Sutton. And over in GT3, it was Elliott Biddle taking the win, with Javi Gutierrez locking up the championship last week at VIR. We'll have full race rundown for you, as well as drive interviews in just a moment here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Don't go away. Welcome back to Imola, where we just rounded out the... Sorry, again, my notes here. We just rounded out the HPP Simulation Sportscar Challenge. week number 12, round 12, the final race of the season, and it was won by Sam Fitzpatrick in the number 13 DP car, ahead of Matthew Molnar by 16 seconds, and one lap behind him was Jefferson Padovani, who had to make 2 stops after getting caught in an early incident. Adam?
Yeah, your first place in the GTE is going to go to Matty Casoa. Robin Esterson coming home after passing Lewis Goodway there in the late stages of the race for third. And then, of course, Lewis Goodway finishing behind Robin. And then Ronaldo, who was in second there, even at the white flag. But unfortunately, sounds like a hardware failure is going to relegate Ronaldo to fourth in class, just off the podium. Gianni Vecchio back there, he'll finish fifth in class. Brian Sutton, who was trying to do something, trying to work some magic here as far as the championship, couldn't get it done here for tonight. Julian Affray coming home ninth overall. Benjamin Perez sounds like he's going to be able to wrap up the championship. Coming home in 11th position overall, is Mike Burdett. And then Claudio Klima, who it sounds like Claudio had a pit road speeding penalty at some point during the pit stop cycle. Kurt Kroom in 13th overall. Miguel Vigo in 14th. All GTE class cars finished this race.
Okay, let's go on down to the GT3 class. Elliott Biddle, the big winner. He led it from start to finish. What a race by him. Won it going away, too. Patrick Bodden, great fight by him. Great determination. Second place, Georgi Zajan gets another podium finish for himself. He'll finish third. CM Skinner just outside that podium spot today. He'll finish fourth. Julian Ryu, the Canadian, having a pretty good day. He'll finish fifth. Arders Kronensberg, the only one in an Audi tonight. He'll finish sixth. Leonidas Gazuviak, he will finish seventh. Bimar Ludovic in eighth. Christopher Exner in ninth. And Dexter Castro, who had some trouble down there in Tosa, and unfortunately was not able to recover from that. He goes out early and finishes 10th.
Reminder to any of the drivers who have jumped into our YouTube stream, come in, feel free to talk to us. It's the end of the season. We want to hear from everyone who was out there and made this season as exciting as it was, and we will begin with our overall race winner today, and that is Sam Fitzpatrick. Another Sam on Sam interview here, but we're not just speaking to you as a winner today, Mr. Fitzpatrick, but also as a season champion.
Yeah, cheers. Been a really good season. Good race up there today. A bit unfortunate that Carlo and Galon weren't there, but it was still good fun, and thanks for putting the season on.
Yeah, we didn't have the same competition as we've always had, but I'll tell you what, it was quite exciting, the opening few laps when you made that mistake and dropped back to third behind Matthew and Jefferson there. You guys had a little good scrap going on there in the early stages.
Yeah, I made a bit of an error on that opening lap. Just locking the rears, I think, going downhill. I thought it was better to just go straight on than spin the car. So, and it's not exactly easy to overtake around here. So I was just really waiting for a clear opportunity to arise, and that happened. So, and then once I got that those moves done, it was quite a lot easier.
Well, like we say, iRacing's regular season, as well as this HPP Simulation Sportscar Championship, coming to an end at the end of this week. How would you say the last 12 weeks have gone for you? Not only in this season, but in the IMSA series as a whole, and any other iRacing seasons you've been competing in?
I've mainly been focusing on IMSA and the C7, also done a little bit of GT as well, but it's been good fun. It's kind of been the first season where I've been able to put in a lot of work to get high up in the championship places. I think I got third now in the overall standings, so really successful season. I got a few wins, of course, in this series, which is always good. So it was a good season.
It was a good season. We've enjoyed seeing your race out there, Sam, where we congratulate you on all of your victories this season and the championship. We'll let you go and celebrate, but before we do, anything else you'd like to say or people you'd like to thank?
Well, firstly, thanks to you guys and HPP Simulations for playing the season on. It's been really good fun to take part in. Thanks to Fitzday Motorsport. Thanks for the IMSA community as well, and the other C7 drivers for putting on a really good championship.
Alright, and that was your DP race winner today and champion, Sam Fitzpatrick. And Sean, you've caught up with a driver who had a pretty eventful race over in GTE.
Yeah, Reynaldo Lerner here. I know it was a tough race. I know you were frustrated there at the end. Tell us exactly what happened.
Well, pretty simple, really. Turn one, it's close hard racing with Matti, as usual. When me and Matti race, well, that's when we race. We don't really race together that often. But in the second turn, I put my foot on the brake like normal and just went straight.
It just kept going.
It just kept going, and then I look at my bottom left-hand corner where my inputs are, and my brake was barely reaching about 15%.
Ray, that's a tough break. You know what? That's the second broadcast I've been on today that I've seen somebody have brake failure down in the first turn, and I don't know if it's a bug or just some bad Friday luck, man. I'm sorry I bit you, but it was still an eventful race. Jeez, you guys are really slinging it around. Now, talk about how technical this track is, and well, I don't know. Are you a fan or not a fan? If you're not a fan, why aren't you a fan of Imola?
Well, I'm a fan of Imola. It's a really fun track. Definitely hard to get a perfect lap in, so to speak, and that's where I got to give Matti credit. He absolutely nailed qualifying with that 38.4. I was lucky enough to get the 38.7, but I had no shot for Matti today, and I just hope that I could save enough fuel and try and keep up with him at the end, and that's what happened. It probably would have worked out too had it my brake pedal not failed, and it's just so frustrating that I could have done so much better in this race, but yet I'm rewarded with just 4th place, even though I really don't deserve 4th place.
No, you're being too hard on yourself, man. Listen, it was an entertaining one. It was a good way to end the season. Hopefully, we get to ask you. Well, okay, all right. So, I do have a question. It's come from our chat. Let's see. NXGX wants to know what kind of pedals are you using?
I am using a T3PA non-pro pedal with a Bowden load cell from John from Bowden Solutions.
Okay, I'll have to look that up when we get done. All right, so Bowden Solutions.
It's a load cell mod for the T3PA Pros.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, duly noted, because that question came up just as we were getting ready to congratulate you again and send you off. But any closing thoughts as we wrap up this season?
Yeah, just going to give a big shout out to Gianni Vecchio, my new team, SimRC. They've worked their butts off with the setup, and I can't do it alone, and these guys are just one of the best teams I've been around so far, even though I joined last week. So thank you very much to them, and I hope to have continued success with SimRC going forward.
All right, buddy. We hope to see you again real soon. Take care, and thanks a lot.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, and that was Ray Lerner from Florida, the Florida driver. And Sam, I know you want to talk to Dexter Castro about his race.
Yeah, Dexter, we followed you a long time here on the GSRC. You've had some strong performances and some races I'm sure you'd like to forget. Unfortunately, I think this was one of those.
Yeah. Well, it was. It's not a track I like, and quite frankly, I don't care for the GT3s at the moment anyway. I mean, if you set them up realistically, they feel great, but the setups are so abusable that you kind of have to not set them up realistically. But in any case, I just managed to pick up a slowdown on the first lap, and then while trying to serve the extra long slowdown, I got run off into another slowdown. So I got 2 slowdowns in the first lap. So then I was just stuck behind some slower traffic. Worked through them pretty easily, but then I was 10 seconds behind, and I really was already contemplating just parking it there since the championship position's kind of locked in. And then, when I hit the turf and started to spin, I just kind of let it go and then just drove off the track, and then Alt F4, and probably never driving the Mercedes again, or really actually for that matter. Unless they, unless of course they fixed everything. Maybe they've learned something with making that brand new Ferrari, but. Unless they seriously fix the GT3s, I'm pretty much done with GT3 once I get done with the CMS season.
Well, we'll wait and see how the Mercedes does handle in the future. Like we say, the season kind of ending on a low point for you. But as this, because this isn't just HPP Simulation Sportscar Challenge, it's also, week 12 of iRacing's IMSA Sportscar Championship. What have been your best memories or bigger sins that you would say you've learned over these past 12 weeks?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just, it was all going great, really, actually, at the beginning of the season. I was out front in the Division Championship in the official series and doing pretty well in here, and it just sort of all fell apart. So I guess if there's one thing I can learn from this season, it's just get the heck out of the way of Carlo.
All right, well, like we'd say, Dexter, we know this isn't ending on the greatest note for you, but we definitely enjoy seeing your race. Week 13's coming up next week. We'll wait and see what adventures you're in next here on the GSRC. Thanks for coming to talk to us tonight. Anything else you'd like to say before we let you go?
Yeah, no, I mean, just because I don't want to go out on such a negative note. I mean, I'm absolutely loving the Ford. I'm going to be running that a ton. Unfortunately, it's not exactly popular right now. I don't know how much of that is the balance and how much of that is just that it got off to a poor start. But I'll definitely be looking forward to a lot of good races in the Ford here in this series next season and in leagues and such. So definitely a lot of fun times in the future still.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing what you can do out on Circuit F4. That was Dexter Castro. Unfortunately, our one DNF of a race. But for every low, there's a high, Sean, and I have a feeling you've caught up with someone who's pretty happy.
Benjamin Perez, I have caught up with him, the Indiana driver here. And Ben, that was quite a race, man. Well, congratulations on taking home this GTE championship. Ben, can you hear us, buddy?
So excited he can't even speak right now.
finding it hard
Words
to come by the
beyond him.
words. It's the champagne, Sam. It's the champagne. It's too much of it flowing right now, and Ben just doesn't have a conscious word for us.
Okay, it's technical issue. Yeah, we'll give him a minute. Let's see if he comes back in.
Boy, I kind of want to get out of the booth and down to that party, Sam.
Yeah, well, he's a Ferrari driver, and we're in Italy. Direct, here we go. All right.
Hello? Okay.
There's
we
are.
Ben. Ben, congratulations. Not necessarily on the race this evening. It was an exciting race, but boy, what about that championship? Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was weird because I feel like overall throughout the season, I don't feel like I did exceptionally well. I mean, I had I think it was one win at Lemrock. But even then, it wasn't really a deserved win. But hey, I mean, consistency, I guess, pays off in the end. And even with a bit of a below average result for me here at Imola, still ended up taking the championship. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Now, your club is Indiana. Are you from Indiana, Ben?
Well, I was born in California, but I did move here to Indiana about 11 years ago now. So it's been a while that I've been living here.
So you kind of had the Jeff Gordon connection thing going, except the other way around. He was born in Indiana, went to California. You were in California and then went to Indiana.
Yeah.
Well, listen, now is this the first championship you've won, or have you tackled one of these things before?
Now that you mention it, I don't think I've actually won a championship before, whether it be an iRacing championship or a league championship. So I guess this is my first one.
Well, then congratulations. Sam, I told you they were having a party down there in that pit stall, and that's why we had trouble getting Ben on, man. Well, congratulations. That's pretty monumental. You'll have to mark this day down and keep it in the history books for yourself.
Yeah, thank you. We'll definitely be celebrating with some champagne in the back.
All right. Well, what are your plans for next season? You going to give it a go again?
Oh, absolutely. The GTE cars are so much fun. I most definitely will be running them again next season. I'm a little unhappy that there's 3 75-minute races, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I'll definitely be in the GTEs again next season for sure.
So you're a bigger fan of the 45, not the endurance ones.
Yeah, well, the 75 minutes is just... They just seem a bit too long. Maybe if it was like 60 minutes, then I'd be a little more okay with it. But 75 minutes, that's just a long race. It's hard to commit to that when you've got a job and, you got to go to bed for work the next day.
Sure. Totally understand. Listen, Ben, congratulations, Ben. Anybody you'd like to thank for your effort this season?
Well, absolutely. Definitely would like to thank the Team Bushfink Racing guys because, those guys have always been supportive of everything. I'd especially like to thank Craig Williams for making a lot of the sets for the Ferrari as well as the Ford GTE. If anybody's interested in getting those, you can go to setups.bushfinks.com.
Ooh, very good. I hope everybody heard that. Setup.bushfinks.com.
Yeah, plural setups.
Setups.
Yes.
.bushfink.com. There you go, folks.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be going there myself. Thank you, Ben. All right, now, Ben, I hear the guys over there at Bushfink, they're calling you over. They need you over there to do a keg stand, okay? We'll go ahead and let you go.
Thanks.
All right, and that's Ben Perez, your big winner and champion, or not winner tonight, but champion in the GTE class. And Sam, what a season it's been here in the HPP Simulations IMSA Challenge, man. Been a lot of fun here calling these races with you, buddy.
It's been the big tracks and small, 75-minute races and 45-minute races. Seen some clean racing out there, but also some unfortunate carnage and hardware failure and blow-ups and cars running out of fuel along the way. It all happens here in the HPP Simulation Sports Car Challenge, and we hope you've enjoyed the ride. We certainly have, but we've got a few people we would like to thank before we hand up the mics for this season, including, of course, HPP Simulation and Mark Hargett for putting on this championship, and we hope you've enjoyed every race of it that GSRC has broadcast this season. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for all of our broadcasts. There you see them there listed on your screen. Additional thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde who provide us with our wonderful music. Fits so perfectly you might not even hear it playing in the background right now, but it's there and it's awesome. Check it out and their links are on the screen. Thanks to the team for tonight as well as this championship. Sean, Adam, Justin, Armpred, Dougie, as well as many others who have helped us out along the way. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, because we have some of those in our other season, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check out our social media. We're on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel. As I mentioned, while the season is in the books, there's still plenty more racing to come on GSRC, so we have all of our upcoming races for our other series listed on the screen, and they'll be cycling through on there for a couple minutes, so be sure the check goes out, mark them down on your calendar, and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.